Most people are told what their kidney numbers mean only after something has already started going wrong. A doctor points at a lab report, mentions creatinine, talks about stages of kidney disease, and then the appointment moves on to the next patient. But there is one conversation that often never happens. The conversation about what you are eating every afternoon when hunger hits. When you are standing in your kitchen wondering what snack is actually helping your kidneys and what snack is quietly adding more stress. And that missing conversation matters more than many people realize. The reason is simple. A typical kidney appointment is short. There is enough time to review medications, check lab results, discuss symptoms, and decide whether another test is needed. But there is rarely enough time to sit down and explain the small daily choices that can influence how much work your kidneys have to do. The detailed food conversation is often the first thing removed from the schedule, even though it may be one of the most valuable conversations a patient could have. I'm Dr. John Myers, and after 2 decades of working in internal medicine, I have sat across from hundreds of people over the age of 60 who watched their creatinine slowly rise on their blood tests. Many of them came into my office with the same feeling, that their kidneys were failing and there was nothing they could personally do about it. But that is not the complete picture. There are things you can do every single day that may help reduce the workload placed on your kidneys. Today, I want to share 5 simple snacks that you can find in ordinary grocery stores, foods that many people already have access to, and explain why they may support kidney health when they are chosen and prepared correctly. I also want to show you the mistakes I see people make all the time. Good people, careful people, people who are trying to do the right thing but unknowingly choosing foods or preparation methods that work against their goals. And before we continue, I want to be completely honest with you. I am not going to tell you that these 5 snacks will cure kidney disease. They will not erase years of damage. They will not replace medication, medical treatment, or the guidance of your kidney specialist. Anyone who promises that is giving you false hope. What I am going to tell you is something much more realistic and much more important. The food you choose every day can change the amount of work your kidneys must perform. A kidney that is under less stress may be able to maintain its function longer. Small choices repeated over months and years can become meaningful. This is not about selling you a miracle. This is about understanding how your body works and using the tools that are already available to you. If your recent blood test showed that your creatinine has started moving upward, maybe around 1.2, 1.5 or higher, if your doctor has mentioned stage 3 kidney disease or even stage 4, if you wake up multiple times during the night to urinate and you have started worrying about what that means, this information is especially important for you. Because before we talk about the snacks, you need to understand the number that is causing so much concern: creatinine. Most people hear that word on a lab report but never receive a simple explanation of what it actually represents. Creatinine is a waste product created when your muscles use energy. Your body naturally produces it throughout the day. Once it enters your bloodstream, your kidneys filter it out and remove it through your urine. In a healthy body, this process happens continuously. Your muscles produce creatinine and your kidneys remove it. The level in your blood stays relatively stable. But your kidneys are not just simple filters. Each kidney contains approximately 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons. These microscopic structures are responsible for cleaning your blood and maintaining the balance of fluids and minerals throughout your body. When those nephrons become damaged, the filtering process slows down. That damage can happen for many reasons. Years of high blood sugar can injure the delicate kidney structures. Long-term high blood pressure can damage the tiny blood vessels that supply them. Chronic kidney disease itself can gradually reduce the kidney's ability to perform its job. When filtration slows, creatinine remains in your blood longer because your kidneys cannot remove it as efficiently. That is when you begin seeing numbers like 1.5, 1.8, or 2.0 appear on your laboratory report. But here is the part many people never hear. Your creatinine number is not simply a measurement of damage that has already happened. It is also influenced by the workload you place on your kidneys every day. 2 things matter. First, how much waste your kidneys are being asked to remove. Second, how much ongoing stress your kidney filters are experiencing from inflammation, blood vessel damage, and other factors. And this is where your daily choices come in. The 5 snacks we are going to discuss all connect to one of these areas. Some help reduce unnecessary waste. Some provide nutrients that may support healthier blood vessels. Some help limit minerals that damaged kidneys may struggle to control. The goal is not perfection. The goal is reducing the burden. And one of the few places where you have a daily vote is your own plate. The first snack is one that surprises many kidney patients because they often assume they should avoid it. Red grapes. When I mention grapes, I usually hear the same concern immediately. Doctor, aren't grapes just sugar? What about my blood sugar? That is a fair question. But the answer is more complicated than simply saying grapes are good or grapes are bad. Red grapes contain a natural compound called resveratrol. Many people have heard of resveratrol because of its connection to red wine. But what often gets missed is that consuming a whole grape provides the compound along with fiber and other beneficial plant nutrients, without the alcohol that comes with wine. And alcohol is something a struggling kidney does not need added pressure from. Inside the body, resveratrol acts as an antioxidant. To understand why that matters, you have to understand oxidative stress. Your cells are constantly producing molecules called free radicals. Normally, your body manages them. But when tissues are under stress, these unstable molecules can create more damage. In the kidneys, ongoing oxidative stress can contribute to wear and tear on the delicate nephrons. Over time, that damage may contribute to scarring and reduced kidney function. Antioxidants help the body manage this process. The skin of red grapes also contains other plant compounds including anthocyanins and flavonoids, which give grapes their deep red and purple color. Early research has connected these compounds with healthier blood vessel function and possible reductions in protein leakage through the kidneys. That last point is important. If your doctor has told you that you have protein in your urine, or if you notice your urine appears unusually foamy, it may be a sign that your kidney filters are allowing substances through that normally should remain in your bloodstream. But there is another reason red grapes are interesting for kidney patients: potassium. Many people with kidney disease need to monitor potassium because damaged kidneys may not remove excess potassium efficiently. When potassium levels become too high, it can affect the heart's electrical system. A half cup of red grapes contains relatively little potassium compared with many other fruits. A banana, for example, can contain several times more potassium. That means red grapes can provide sweetness and satisfaction while still fitting more easily into many kidney-friendly eating plans. The key is how you eat them. Choose whole, fresh grapes. Wash them well. Keep them refrigerated. A reasonable serving is about half a cup, roughly 15 to 20 grapes. And here is a small tip that I often share with patients. Combine them with a little protein or healthy fat. A few unsalted nuts or a small amount of low-sodium cheese can slow the absorption of natural sugars and create a more balanced snack. But there are two mistakes I want you to avoid. The first is replacing whole grapes with grape juice. Juicing removes much of the fiber and concentrates the sugar, making it much easier to consume a large amount quickly. The second mistake is choosing raisins instead. When grapes are dried, the nutrients become concentrated. The portion size becomes much smaller, but the potassium and sugar become much more concentrated. A food that was a reasonable choice can quickly become a problem when prepared differently. The lesson is simple. For kidney support, choose fresh red grapes, not juice, not raisins. The whole fruit matters, and the color matters. Because sometimes the most helpful foods are not the ones advertised as special. They are ordinary foods prepared in the right way. One of the biggest misunderstandings I see in people with kidney problems is the idea that all protein is automatically harmful. Many people are told at some point, you need to reduce protein, and they walk away believing that every source of protein is now their enemy. But the reality is much more complicated. The wrong amount of the wrong type of protein can put extra pressure on struggling kidneys. However, too little protein can create a completely different problem, especially in older adults. And this is where many people get caught in the middle. Because after the age of 60, maintaining muscle becomes one of the most important parts of staying healthy, independent, and strong. Losing muscle can increase the risk of weakness, falls, slower recovery from illness, and loss of quality of life. The second snack I want to talk about helps address that balance: egg whites. Now I know what some people are thinking. Eggs, aren't eggs something kidney patients are supposed to avoid? This is where details matter. The egg white is very different from the whole egg. When your body breaks down protein, it creates waste products. One of those waste products is urea, which is measured in your blood test as BUN, or blood urea nitrogen. Your kidneys are responsible for removing that waste. So when kidney function declines, your body may have a harder time clearing these byproducts. This is why doctors sometimes recommend adjusting protein intake. But years ago, the advice was often much simpler: just eat less protein. The problem was that this approach sometimes created another issue. People, especially older adults, began losing valuable muscle. There is a natural process that happens with aging called sarcopenia. It is the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength over time. And when someone with kidney disease loses too much muscle, they become more vulnerable. Here is the surprising part. Your creatinine level can actually be affected by muscle. Creatinine comes from normal muscle activity. So when someone loses significant muscle, their body changes in ways that can make interpreting kidney numbers more complicated. But beyond the laboratory value, there is something even more important. A person with low muscle strength is more likely to fall, become less active, lose independence, and struggle to recover from health problems. So the goal is not simply to remove all protein. The goal is choosing protein wisely. And that is where egg whites become interesting. Egg whites contain one of the highest quality proteins available. In simple terms, your body can use a large portion of that protein efficiently, leaving behind less waste compared with many other protein sources. That means you can support your muscles without unnecessarily increasing the workload on your kidneys. For someone who is trying to maintain strength while also protecting kidney function, that balance is extremely valuable. There is another reason egg whites are often recommended in kidney-friendly diets: phosphorus. Phosphorus is a mineral that healthy kidneys help regulate. But when kidney function declines, phosphorus can build up in the blood. Over time, excess phosphorus can contribute to problems involving bones, blood vessels, and overall mineral balance. Most of the phosphorus in an egg is found in the yolk. The egg white contains the protein while avoiding much of that phosphorus burden. That is what makes it such a unique option. You get high-quality protein while reducing some of the concerns that come with other protein-rich foods. Now, preparation matters. A simple way to prepare egg whites is to scramble 2 or 3 of them with a small amount of olive oil and fresh herbs like parsley or chives. Avoid adding salt. You can also boil eggs and remove the yolks, keeping only the whites. If you buy liquid egg whites in a carton, check the label carefully. Some products contain added sodium, and that is something you want to limit when protecting kidney health. One of the most common mistakes I see is people eating one single egg white and thinking they have created a meaningful protein snack. For maintaining muscle, most people need more than that. A serving of approximately 3 to 4 egg whites provides around 10 to 15 grams of protein, which is much more useful for supporting your muscles. But there is an important warning here. If you are dealing with advanced kidney disease, especially stage 4 approaching stage 5, your protein needs should be personalized. Your kidney doctor or renal dietitian should help determine exactly how much protein is right for your situation. Kidney nutrition is not one size fits all. The same food that works well for one person may need adjustments for another person depending on kidney function, medications, potassium levels, phosphorus levels, and other health conditions. For many people in earlier stages of kidney disease, however, smart protein choices like egg whites can be an important part of staying strong. Now, the third snack is one that surprises almost everyone, and honestly, it surprises many healthcare professionals too, because it is a food that has been placed on many kidney avoid lists for years. Potatoes. Yes, potatoes. The same food many kidney patients have been told to remove completely. But the problem is not always the food itself. The problem is often the preparation. Potatoes have earned their bad reputation because they contain a significant amount of potassium. And potassium is one of the minerals that people with reduced kidney function often need to monitor carefully. When your kidneys are healthy, they remove extra potassium through urine. But when kidney function declines, potassium can accumulate. And dangerously high potassium levels can interfere with the normal electrical signals that control your heartbeat. That is why doctors often warn kidney patients about high potassium foods. But here is the part many people never learn. Potassium dissolves in water. This means you can remove a significant portion of the potassium from certain foods before eating them through a process called leaching. And potatoes are one of the foods where this technique can make a major difference. Here is how it works. First, peel the potatoes. Then slice them into thin pieces. The thinner the slices, the more surface area is exposed, which allows more potassium to move into the water. Place the slices in a large container of warm water and allow them to soak for several hours. Changing the water halfway through can help remove even more potassium. After soaking, drain the water, rinse the potatoes, and cook them in fresh, unsalted water. This process does not remove all potassium. It does not turn potatoes into a completely potassium-free food, but it can significantly reduce the amount of potassium compared with eating them normally. For some people with stage 3 kidney disease, this preparation method may allow potatoes to return to their diet in controlled portions with their doctor's approval. And this matters because food is not just chemistry. Food is also enjoyment. A kidney-friendly diet that feels like punishment is difficult to maintain. When people feel completely restricted, many eventually give up. And giving up entirely can be far more damaging than including a carefully prepared food occasionally. A warm potato is filling. It is comforting. It is easy to chew. For many older adults, it is a food that brings satisfaction in a way that many diet foods never will. A simple kidney-conscious preparation is to take 2 small potatoes, bleach them properly, boil them in fresh water, and lightly mash them with olive oil, herbs, rosemary, and a little lemon. Keep the portion reasonable, around half a cup. But there are 2 mistakes you should avoid. The first is thinking that microwaving a potato does the same thing. It does not. A microwave cooks the potato, but it does not remove potassium. The mineral remains inside. The soaking and water-changing process is the important step. The second mistake is automatically replacing regular potatoes with sweet potatoes because you assume they are always healthier. For general nutrition, sweet potatoes can be an excellent food, but kidney nutrition follows different rules. Sweet potatoes can contain even more potassium, and unless they are prepared using the same type of leaching process, they may not be the better choice for someone managing kidney disease. A kidney-friendly diet is not exactly the same as a general healthy diet. That difference is where many people become confused. The goal is not simply to eat healthy foods. The goal is to eat foods that match what your kidneys can safely handle right now. And that is why preparation, portion size, and personal medical guidance matter so much. Because when it comes to kidney health, the details are everything. Before we move to the final 2 snacks, I want to take a moment to talk about something that affects whether any of this information actually helps you. Knowledge only becomes powerful when you use it. A lot of people watch videos about improving their health, they learn something valuable, they agree with it, and then life gets busy. The groceries never get bought, the first small change never happens, and months later they are still dealing with the same worries. The goal is not to completely rebuild your entire diet overnight. That approach usually fails. The goal is to make one realistic improvement that you can actually maintain. Maybe that means replacing one afternoon snack. Maybe it means learning one new preparation method. Maybe it means simply paying closer attention to what is on your plate. Small changes repeated consistently are often more meaningful than a perfect plan that lasts only a few days. Now, let's continue with the 4th snack. This is one that I recommend to many kidney patients because it checks several important boxes at the same time. Cauliflower. For many people, cauliflower does not sound exciting. It is not a food that usually gets attention. It does not have the reputation of being a superfood, and it is not something most people think about when they think about kidney protection. But that is exactly why it is worth discussing. Sometimes the most useful foods are not the ones making headlines. They are the simple foods that quietly provide what your body needs while avoiding what your kidneys struggle to manage. Cauliflower naturally fits into many kidney-friendly eating patterns because it is relatively low in potassium, low in phosphorus, and naturally low in sodium. For someone with reduced kidney function, those three things matter. Potassium is important because damaged kidneys may not remove excess amounts efficiently. Phosphorus matters because high levels over time can affect bones and blood vessels. Sodium matters because too much salt can increase fluid retention and raise blood pressure, two things that can place additional stress on the kidneys. But cauliflower offers more than just what it does not contain. It also provides nutrients that support overall health. It contains vitamin C, folate, and other plant compounds that contribute to a balanced diet. And there is a deeper reason researchers continue studying vegetables like cauliflower. Cauliflower belongs to a family of vegetables called cruciferous vegetables. This group includes broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, and similar foods. These vegetables contain natural compounds that interact with the body's inflammatory pathways. One of these compounds is called indole-3-carbinol. The body can convert it into another compound known as DIM. Researchers are interested in DIM because it appears to influence certain pathways involved in inflammation. And inflammation matters when we talk about chronic kidney disease. Kidney damage is not only about filtration, it is also about the environment surrounding those tiny filters. When the body experiences ongoing low-level inflammation, it can contribute to continued stress on tissues, including the kidneys. Now, I want to be careful here. This does not mean cauliflower alone will lower your creatinine. It does not mean eating vegetables replaces medical treatment. The research connecting specific compounds in cauliflower directly to kidney improvement is still developing. But what we do know is that reducing overall inflammation and supporting healthy eating patterns are important parts of protecting kidney function. And cauliflower is a safe, practical food that fits into that strategy for many people. There is another interesting connection worth mentioning. Many kidney patients struggle with frequent nighttime urination. Getting up once or twice may be manageable, but waking 3, 4, or 5 times a night can affect sleep, energy, mood, and quality of life. The kidney is responsible not only for filtering waste, but also for concentrating urine and maintaining fluid balance. Cauliflower contains nutrients, including choline, that play roles in normal cell function. Research into the relationship between specific nutrients and urinary symptoms is still ongoing, so we should not overstate what we know. But the larger point remains. Supporting the health of kidney tissues requires a pattern of good nutrition, not one magical ingredient. So how should you prepare cauliflower? One of my favorite options is something many people call cauliflower rice. You simply break raw cauliflower into small pieces and pulse it in a food processor until the texture resembles rice. Then you can lightly cook it and season it with kidney-friendly ingredients. A little olive oil, fresh herbs, a squeeze of lemon, a small amount of garlic powder. These simple additions create flavor without loading the food with unnecessary sodium. Another option is roasting. Cut the cauliflower into small pieces, add a little olive oil, and roast it until the edges become slightly golden. The flavor changes completely when it is roasted. It becomes warmer, richer, and more satisfying. But there is one version of cauliflower I want you to avoid: the frozen bags that come covered in cheese sauce. The cauliflower itself may be fine. The problem is everything added afterward. Many of these products contain large amounts of sodium and phosphate additives, ingredients that can create problems for people with kidney disease. Always check the label. Plain frozen cauliflower can be a great option. Fresh cauliflower can be a great option. The key is controlling what gets added to it. Now we come to the fifth snack. And this is the one that surprises many people. Macadamia nuts. For years, many kidney patients were told to avoid nuts completely. And there was a reason behind that advice. Many nuts are concentrated sources of phosphorus and potassium. For someone with advanced kidney disease, those minerals can become difficult to manage. For example, some popular nuts contain significantly higher amounts of potassium and phosphorus. So the old advice to be careful with nuts was not random. But the problem is that a blanket rule does not always tell the whole story. Different nuts have different nutritional profiles, and macadamia nuts are unique. Compared with many other nuts, macadamias contain relatively lower amounts of potassium and phosphorus. A typical serving of about 1 ounce, roughly 10 to 12 nuts, provides a smaller mineral load compared with many other varieties. That difference matters, because it changes macadamias from something many kidney patients automatically avoid into something that may fit into a carefully planned diet. But minerals are only one part of the story. Macadamia nuts also provide healthy fats. Specifically, they are rich in monounsaturated fats, including oleic acid, the same type of heart-friendly fat found in olive oil. And protecting your kidneys is not only about the kidneys themselves. The heart and kidneys are deeply connected. People with chronic kidney disease have a higher risk of cardiovascular problems because the same issues that damage kidney function, inflammation, blood vessel problems, and high blood pressure, can also affect the heart and arteries. Healthy fats can support better cholesterol balance and healthier blood vessels. And healthier blood vessels mean better circulation, including the circulation that supplies your kidneys. Your kidneys depend on a constant blood supply to perform their filtering job. So protecting those blood vessels is part of protecting kidney function. Macadamias also have another advantage. They are satisfying. For someone managing both kidney concerns and blood sugar concerns, finding snacks that reduce hunger without causing major glucose spikes can be difficult. Nuts can help because they contain fat and fiber, which slow digestion and help you feel full. But portion control is extremely important. Macadamia nuts are healthy, but they are also calorie-dense. The right serving is small, about 1 ounce, around 10 to 12 nuts, not a handful eaten directly from the bag. Because even healthy foods can become unhelpful when the portion gets too large. Choose raw and unsalted whenever possible. If you buy roasted, look for options without added salt, oils, flavor coatings, sugar, or other additives. Avoid varieties covered in chocolate, caramel, or seasoning powders. Those additions can turn a kidney-conscious snack into something very different. A simple combination that many people enjoy is pairing a small serving of macadamias with a few fresh red grapes from the first snack we discussed. You get sweetness, healthy fat, and a more balanced snack experience. One important safety reminder: macadamia nuts are dangerous for dogs. If you have pets at home, keep them stored where your dog cannot reach them. Let me share a story that explains why I continue talking about these small changes. I had a patient I'll call Walter. He was 67 years old when he came to see me. His creatinine had slowly increased over several years, and his chart showed stage 3 kidney disease. He also had a long history of high blood pressure and blood sugar problems. The hardest part for Walter was that he felt fine, and that is something many people with kidney disease experience. The numbers on the paper are changing, but they do not feel sick. That can make the situation feel confusing and unfair. He told me something I hear often. Every appointment gives me another prescription, but nobody tells me what I can actually do in my own kitchen. Walter was waking up several times every night to urinate. He had even stopped traveling because he was worried about finding bathrooms and managing his symptoms. So we focused on 2 things. First, he continued following the treatment plan from his kidney doctor. Food does not replace medication or medical care. Second, we looked at the small choices he made between meals. He replaced some of his usual snacks with fresh red grapes and a controlled portion of macadamia nuts. He learned how to properly prepare potatoes by reducing their potassium. His family started adding cauliflower dishes into their meals. Over time, along with his medical treatment and regular monitoring, his numbers became more stable. And I want to be very clear about this. His kidney disease did not disappear. His creatinine did not magically return to a perfect level. But it stopped moving in the wrong direction. His blood pressure improved. His nighttime bathroom trips became less frequent. And the biggest change was not even on the laboratory report. He told me he finally felt involved in his own health again. He no longer felt like he was simply watching his kidneys decline while waiting for the next appointment. That is the message I want you to remember. Your creatinine number is not just a sentence written on a piece of paper. It is also a reflection of the workload your kidneys are facing every day. And while you cannot control everything that affects kidney health, there are certain things you can influence. The egg whites help provide quality protein while limiting unnecessary waste. The red grapes and cauliflower provide nutrients that support a healthier environment inside your body. The macadamia nuts support healthy fats and blood vessels. The way you prepare these foods, limiting salt, controlling portions, and paying attention to potassium and phosphorus, matters just as much as the food itself. So what should you do next? Do not try to completely change your life overnight. Start with one step. Make a simple grocery list. Fresh red grapes, egg whites or eggs, a few potatoes, a head of cauliflower, raw, unsalted macadamia nuts. Then choose one snack and begin there. Consistency matters more than perfection. And remember this important warning. If you have stage 4 or stage 5 kidney disease, if your potassium levels have been high, or if your doctor has given you specific dietary restrictions, do not make major changes without speaking with your kidney specialist or a renal dietitian. Kidney nutrition must be personalized. The right plan depends on your own kidney function, medications, and laboratory results. These foods are tools to support your care, not replacements for your care. Your kidneys have worked for you every single day of your life, filtering your blood, balancing your fluids, and protecting your health. Now you have an opportunity to support them in return. Choose one small change this week, not someday, not when things get worse. Start while you still have the chance to make a difference. If this information helped you understand your kidney numbers in a way your short medical appointments never had time to explain, share your thoughts below. Tell me your age and, if you know it, your latest creatinine or GFR number. Your experience may help someone else who is facing the same fear. Take care of yourself and take care of the kidneys that have been taking care of you your entire life.